Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is the 11th of a series of basic Python programming course. I'm Sarjun and you can call me Sarj. I'm a data scientist, a data science trainer, and a mentor to the youth. So before we start, I would like to seek your assistance, cooperation with my socials. I'm trying to reach out to as many people as possible. So please subscribe, send me a message on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Yeah, thank you so much. And let's get on to today's session. Okay, so today's session, we're going to be covering how do we debug errors in Python programming, right? So in Python programming, there are a few ways of how we can handle errors, right? That you need to understand what are the errors that you're being faced with. You need to understand the different types of errors so that you can quickly react. And there's also methods such as try, except, and else, and also try and finally as well, right? So let's start off with error handling. So usually when there are errors raised, please search on the error and try to resolve why that error is popping up. So there are various types of errors. I think some errors you have already seen before. Stuff like type error, name error, syntax error, indentation error, and attribute error. So once an error is identified, it'll be easier to rectify the error so that you know what is the cause of the error. So let's do a quick example of the different types of errors. Sometimes it's really weird, we're trying to create errors here. Let's create a variable called new string. We set it to John. This is the most common kind of errors that I see. John is plus 13 plus years. Not years, sorry. Space years old. On one look, this looks absolutely fine, but this is not going to work because 13 here is an integer and you can't concatenate with plus. You need to convert the number to a string value, only then can you concatenate, right? It's going to throw an error. As you said, you can't concatenate a string. You can only concatenate a string. You can't concatenate a string with an integer value, right? So that's the error, right? There's also this common one. I hope you're not doing this, where you're doing an indentation error. So let's see, for I in range 10, if I do a print I, this is wrong because you need to indent when you do a loop. Oh, sorry, you need to delete. It's for I in range, right? Put for in range. That's wrong. So try to do this. So you're going to get some error because there's Python expects an indented block. Without that, it will throw an error. This is called an indentation error. Okay. Okay. What about if I just type print person name? In this case, it's going to throw a name error because person name is not defined in the system. It's going to say person name is not defined. Why are you expecting? Why are you doing this, right? So this is a problem for person name. Okay, so these are quite common. I think you should be able to get it so far. Now you're supposed to raise an indentation error, right? So it's quite simple, right? Try it, pause the video, and then we will go through it soon. So yeah. So we're going to create greetings equals to hello world, right? And we're supposed to close it with the quotes. But if I don't close it with the quotes and I just leave it like that and I run it, it's going to cause a syntax error because the syntax is wrong. It's supposed to have a quotes to close it, right? So that's a syntax error. Okay, enough with errors. Talking about so many errors. So what's up with errors? Now, how do we solve these errors, right? How do we solve these errors? What are the ways to handle these type of errors? We use what we call the try except clause, right? So let's do the same. Let's do try. We use this command word try, and then we pass in a new string equals to. I'm going to exactly copy this and paste this here. You can see this is an error, and this is so if this is the case, except if you have a type error here, I'm specifying the error only when I have a type error. Print this. This is a type error, right? Correct? I thought you so much about this type of error and you still make this error, right? And we can also have a else option just to show the code printed, the code executed without any errors, right? So let's run this. You can see this is a type error. I taught you so much about this type error and you still make this error. So you know this is raising a type error. Okay. Now, if I'm going to copy this and I paste this inside of here, right? And I solve the error. I just put a string code in front, like how you should have done it in the first place, right? And I run this. The code executed without any errors. Obviously, I need to print. Doesn't make sense. I need to print the new string just to show you what output it is, right? Doesn't make sense if I don't print it, right? So John is 13 years old, the code executed without errors. So it actually prints this else block, right? Okay, with that said, we are down to quickly do another try except clause. So what you're supposed to do is here with a try except clause, right? You're supposed to raise a name error with response, why did you not assign the variable before calling out for it? And the else clause print that the code executed without any exceptions. Then display the variable person name. So let's try this. Let's try to create this and try to solve this. Okay, so let me try this. How do we do that? It's a simple exercise. Try. So you know that person name has not been created. This is going to throw an error, right? I want to do except. So I'm giving a specific error. You can just leave it as except without any specification, but you can have multiple excepts, except name error, except type error, and all that, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say print. I'm going to say, why did you not assign the variable before calling out for it, right? Simple, right? And then here, I'm going to do else clause just to show that in the event that there's no error, it's going to print y, no, not y, the code executed without any exceptions. Simple. So in this case, it's going to throw an error, and this is the error that's going to come out, right? Okay, finally, we're going to use the try clause with finally, right? Let's try this. Okay, we're going to use the same try new string. So this finally is a block. So what does finally do? So just want to clarify. So finally is another path in which the block of code in the finally block of try clause will execute regardless of whether there was exceptions or not. So it's just an additional code that will still run if there were exceptions or no exceptions at all, right? So let's try this out. Let's do try new string equals to, let me just copy it from the top. I don't want to copy it again. I don't want to type it again. Okay, so yes, new string equals to this. Simple, right? Now, with that said, if I do get an accept type error, okay, I want you to print this basically. Right? Right, this is a type error, and why are you making these types of errors? Right? Else, I want you to print the code executed without any exceptions. Right? This indicates that there were no exceptions. And now we're going to do finally. This is going to run anyway. So print this code will run if there are exceptions raised or not. That's what the finally does. Right, so when I run this, sorry, here I want to raise an error, so I must remove this. Yep. So there's an error. This is a type error. I taught you so much. I still make this error. Now I'm going to copy this. So the next one is where I don't have the error, right? So here I'm going to solve the error. Yep. So here the code executed without any exceptions, but the code, the finally block still runs, right? Okay, quick practice. Okay, so you are trying, what you need to do is with the try except clause, you are to raise a type error with response, why do you not check the type of variables before calling out for it? And the try clause assign the variable join is 13 years old. And the else clause print that the code executed without any exceptions. In the finally clause respond, the code will run if there are exceptions raised or not. Okay, same. Very similar to what we're doing here, right? It's exactly the same. I'm exactly running the same, right? Yeah, okay. I mean, just practice. If you want to do it, you can do it. So basically, it's just um, type error, right? So it's basically this answer. I don't know why I set it as the same question. So it is the same, right? So, yep. If you were smart, you would have known it by now. So, yep. So to solve it, you just put a string in front, and when it works, it works. Right? Simple. Okay. That's it. Yep. So this is quite just an intro to debugging. Hope I give you some quick understanding about debugging methods, right? Yep. And yeah, it's quite a short lecture. So see you in the next lecture. Bye.